The man formerly known as Pika Pika Power, uh, he recently decided to go under his own name, but I just thought Jason alone is just not going to cut it. I just really didn't think it was going to work. And then I was like, well, he does like Japanese RPGs, and that's when it hit me.
Oh yes, it hit you all right.
Although, to be fair, I think the other Pika, Pika Plays HD, my previous guest, also had a hand in it as well.
Why don't you explain the joke? It's best coming from you.
Well, the joke was that, Jason, Pika Pika Power, as he once was known as, he is a big fan of Japanese RPGs, and I'm like, out of all the games that he could play, like all the genres, I mean, yeah, sure, he's playing Kirby Superstar Ultra, which is a very good game. Actually, it's one of the best, but oh my god. But then when I saw how many RPGs he's done and is going to do, it only made sense to simply, you know, I noticed that he's into RPGs, and I just thought, all right, his name starts with the letter J, so that's when it hit me to call him Jason RPG, and it just works.
Yes, JRPG. It is an excellent pun and abbreviation, by the way. Nice noting that on your part. Although I doubt many people would notice that straight away, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you really have to play RPGs, if not Japanese RPGs, because that's practically where it comes from. So, yeah, there it is right there, folks. But other than that, though, Jason, he is very talented. In fact, ever since he came back on, I believe it was December 11th, 2015, when he made his return
You
after.
remember the date?
Yes, I remember the date. Hell, I kept it in my memory.
No boy.
But I remember, like, for the better part of 2015, he was a ghost.
He went on hiatus. I forget the exact reasoning, but he admitted to me he actually to everyone that he went on hiatus.
He did. He did, and I mean, I'll be honest. Without him, it was just it was kind of sad without him, and so you can only imagine how happy I was when he came back.
Yeah, it was a little awkward to be without him for a while, and admittedly, I did get used to it towards the end of 2015, which made his return that much better because I was like, hey, he's back. Hey, I can actually watch someone else in my subscription box now.
Oh yeah, and Jason still with the Pika Pika Power name. Just, I mean, he has been on a roll ever since he came back, and I mean, I could just tell in the way he prepares his Let's Plays that he is much better prepared. That he is not nearly as shy or as nervous as he once was, and he has definitely become a much better speaker. I mean, I mean, better yet, I mean, the guy is a star.
I do agree, he's definitely gotten better than his old videos, which admittedly you won't be able to find because I think they're all off the internet.
Yeah, he deleted the old set of videos, but they will.
All except one, really.
Oh well, we'll get to that part when we get to it. But yeah, he started over and he has not looked back since, and I'm very happy for him.
I am too, really. It is definitely a much welcome change to his old style. Again, which you probably won't know what we're talking about because none of those videos exist now except for one. So yeah, it's definitely changed. His voice has changed. His style of speaking has also partially changed.
Oh yeah,
He still stammers a little, but I understand that.
it's part of his
All
condition. Yeah.
yeah, although there's something about him that's still inherently him. Like for example, I know the pre-meticulous him and the him that apologize and say, You know what, viewers? I Lied is actually very similar to how he was a few years ago. He has, once again, a unique commentary style, and you do need that to kind of survive on YouTube now. You can't really write turn code on other people's commentary success, like, the generic screaming YouTuber, which is why I do enjoy some other people in my subscription box, like you have a unique commentary style, for example. You tend to be very short, concise, break out into song, bring out patterns and what's the word called? Bring out patterns when you and running gags when you speak.
Oh,
Uh
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Then someone like LP Grotus just doesn't care.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
no, LP Grotus is LP Grotus. He just does what
yeah.
he likes. In fact, all he
Yeah.
has to be is himself. I mean,
Yes, yes, his commentary style is very himself. Or someone like Fefnir Masamune, that one is very concise to the point and very consistent.
it, yeah, I was just about to say, Fefnir Masamune, hands down, has the most epic voice that I know of.
Oh, his voice is epic. Although what I personally find more handy is the fact that he rarely stumbles on his words. He
Yeah.
knows what he's gonna say, really. I believe most of the videos are post-com. I may be wrong. Wait, no, 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 no. I stand corrected. They're live commentary, which makes things much more professional, I must say, because I think he must take speech or speaking classes or whatever, because speaking consistently without stumbling on your words or incomplete sentences, all that stuff, is pretty dang hard. I have trouble with it.
Well, I mean, of course, not everybody is very good at. I mean, I know some people have a tendency to struggle, speaking, but the fact that he barely makes any mistakes, that just is a testament of how well he just takes, he just handles himself really well. And one of the reasons I like him is not just his voice, but also the fact that he kind of comes off as, I don't know, his voice just kind of matches that of his profile picture, if his profile picture could talk.
Let me think. Nah, not really. But he comes off as a mentor to me, and I think that's why it works.
Well, he's definitely a good mentor, especially when you want to speak clearly and speak clearly but not too loud. That's best the way I could say it.
Yeah, to be fair, everyone has their unique commentary style. It's what makes them unique on YouTube. For example, right now, for example, it is, at least as of the time I'm recording this, it is 2016 Super Mario RPG's 20th anniversary. I have at least 4 to 5 Super Mario RPG LPs in my subscription box over the past few months. They are all different though, because the person commentating them and their style is different. It varies.
Oh yeah, not just the way they talk, but also even the way they handle the LP. Like,
It yeah, it is what makes a YouTuber unique. For example, nobody can play Yoshi's Story or Return to Dreamland the way you play it, which is rather slow paced. Not that it's a complaint, but uh, you play it slow paced and you bring about the surroundings and environment more than just a charge through action speed run kind of way.
oh, see, the reason I do that is because, you know, most games I play, not all of them, but most of the time, whether they're long or whether they're short, I just want to soak it up. I mean, I just want to, give the uh, the person that's watching my videos the idea that, you know, it's a beautiful world out there. You just have to look at it. And by that I mean the video game, of course. Most of them.
And I mean, it works. Again, it gives you a unique quality that is you, and I personally haven't really found that anywhere else because most people I know tend to charge through the game. So yeah, I mean, if people like slow pace, soaking out the environment, the beautiful backgrounds, if the game is beautiful, yeah, I mean, that's for you really. It is something an advice that I will give to new YouTubers and possibly anyone that is watching that commentary style is namely yours, even your play style is yours. Don't try to imitate someone you're not really. Chances are it's not really going to work out well for you if you're riding on the coattails of someone like super popular and completely mimicking everything they do because in the end you can't really guarantee that that is really how you would react personally.
True. In fact, that's the best thing to keep in mind for the new people is that yeah, you got to be you. I mean, you have to do something unique. I mean, if you happen to do something the way someone else does it and you don't know it, well, it's just purely consequential. But nonetheless, though, be yourself. That's that. In fact, whenever I watch a let's play or even some other type of video, the number one reason I watch KonisBoard, for example, is because he is himself. He never tries to be someone he isn't, and for that I respect him for it.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, I can't possibly pass off as someone I isn't, although I'm personally a bit uh glad to hear that that's the reason you watch me because people watch me for different reasons. For example, going back to Marble Poppers about 10 minutes ago, 90% of my subscriptions actually possibly watch that. Although it's weird, but yes, that is actually my most popular series whenever it comes out. Not really because I'm good at the game. I'm a humble person. I will admit I am not the best at this genre. I am decent, above average. But because as of right now, I am the only one consistently live commentating on these Marble Poppers. It could change in the future. It has already changed, mind you. There are already more live commentators on this genre compared to the past already this year.
Well, I'll tell you one thing: you've changed the game quite a bit. In fact, at one point you even mentioned that one of your current Let's Plays, at least as of the time that this is being recorded, um, is Ozzie the Turtle.
Oh yes, that game.
Oh,
That
oh,
game
oh,
is
right. I'm sorry. It's Turtle Odyssey. That's what it's
it's
called.
yeah, it's Turtle Odyssey, starring Ozzy the Turtle. That game is my very first platformer, and to be fair, it has a bit of a biased place in my heart because it's not only is it the first platformer game I owned, it is also the first platformer game I beat. So yes.
Well, I can remember the very first time I beat a game. You know, by beating it, you just simply get to the end. I wasn't trying to 100% things back, but the first game that I ever beat was my favorite game of all time, Star Fox 64, and we'll talk more about that. But
Oh sure.
Ozzy, that game looks so good. I mean, it's like the graphics don't even look as old as 2004.
The game is actually pretty underrated and decent, and you can find it on Steam, the first game. Although, in my absolute personal opinion, the second game trumps the first game. There were only two games, actually three if you count a spin off, made in this series. Real Law kind of went to mobile after that. I don't know what happened to them, but they never really touched Turtle Odyssey ever again after Turtle Odyssey 2. The game has charm. I'll give it that. It makes underwater setting looks beautiful. Again, I'll probably mention this more in the later videos of that playthrough. The second game is much more atmospheric than the first. Um, how would I say this? The first game is more deep dive. Is hey, the underwater kingdom is this bouncy, cool place. So yes, so that's a bit biasness. And to be fair, I also mentioned it is a Russian-made game, so they romanized the spelling of Ozzy as Ozzzy, which is the spelling I also give to a certain white snow owl we will probably talk about later.
Sure. Um, Unfortunately, the microphone got cut off at the part where you were talking about how the atmosphere part. Other than that, everything else got was
I think I
covered.
better send you my version at this rate.
Yeah, at the
Is
rate it's
Skype
going.
messing up? Is
Yeah,
Skype messing up? Skype, this is Skype's fault.
yeah. Apparently so. I mean, otherwise I can hear you pretty well though. So, okay. So, all right. So, speaking of Ozzy, I know who DeRob is and I know who Reek is, but who is Ozzy?
All right. How was Aussie made and whatever? This is probably gonna take a little while. All right. So here's the thing. I have a friend named Ryoko. She hates owls. So when I revealed my channel profile picture, I was like, "Hey, look at this." She was the one who was like, "I will stab it with a fork or a knife
I
or
thought it was a
something."
pen.
A pen, yes, a pen. That's somehow more funny than a fork or a knife. Uh,
I just think of a pen sounds funnier because with a knife anybody can do that, and plus
yeah,
it's a bit
and
more grim. But
it's very grim. But with a pen, it's like, what?
but but really though, what happened after that?
Alrighty, so after that, I was like, hmm. And then I simply took my owl picture, palette swapped it white, called it a snow owl, and bam, bim, boom, bim, bang, we have new character. Isn't that the way new characters are created? The lazy way.
Yeah, I kind of did that with I kind of did that with the Mario Brothers and Me Wrestling series. All I really did for Luigi was just simply recolor him, make him just a little bit taller, but other than that, more or less the same guy.
Yeah, I mean, palette swaps, I can totally understand it. It is a natural part of human laziness. He is a bit more than a palette swap, though. Personality wise, I based him off of me, partially. Here's the thing. I mentioned this in my top 10 facts of KonisBored video, which contains some very juicy tidbits. But I personally mentioned already that all of my channel nemesises represent a part of my personality. This guy represents my cocky personality, I guess. No, 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 no.
Oh,
He represents something else. I forgot. He represents my reluctance to let go, my
Ozzy?
stubbornness. Yes, he represents my stubbornness.
Oh, see, I actually thought cocky would be the best way, but wow. And then to rob is just simply
Boredom. That is the cheap, easy way to say this. So the long story short, the name Derob, Derob, is bored backwards. It's a very well-known fact. You can find a lot of hashtags on Twitter or whatever, but it's the first time I really tried to do anything with that name. And I think I'm the only one who did anything with that name, so yeah.
I just like I kind of do like Ozzy just a little bit, although I can see why people don't like him all that much is because he just I don't know the thing about Ozzy that rubs me off the wrong way, and which is a good thing because he is a villain, but it's just that he seems so confident in what he's doing, even though it could just as easily blow up in his face.
It did, if you watch a certain playthrough. Disaster Will Strike 5 is pretty much the playthrough where it did blow up in his face.
Oh boy, I gotta see that again, at least towards the
You,
end.
yeah, blowing things up in my face, how would I say this? This is something unique that I do, and I don't think anyone else bothers doing this, but, on certain episodes where the next one has something unique, special, or just generally things that threaten me, I have these three show up in any specific random order just to create some banter to say, hey, next episode, KonisBored is totally screwed, or something along that line.
And they make fun of you.
Generally, sometimes they just do random banter. So it's sort of like a foy kind of thing where how would I say this? So to be fair, I came up with some very lousy explanation saying, hey, I can actually warp into the game realm to make it seem like those three, or specifically the one with the scepter, cough, 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 is manipulating me to fail and mess up horribly, I guess.
Oh, well, that is to be expected. I mean, we talked about Darab pretty much in the first interview, so
Yes, in the first interview, he was just there. In the first interview, I didn't really know what to do with them. He's just out. He's not even an outro character. He's an update character. He's pretty much like a milestone target. He's like, made it to 100 sucks. You suck. You'll never make it to 1,000, and stuff like that. But then when I discovered, I guess they work well in outros, it became more of a banter rivalry kind of thing where they'll show up, they'll make fun of you, sometimes even the viewers, sometimes they'll even call out the viewers,
oh yeah.
and then they just disappear and do stuff. There are three characters so far. Actually, there are four. There is the Rob, Reek, Ozzie, and there's someone named Ruben who hasn't shown up yet, but has been mentioned like maybe 3 to 4 times and name dropped randomly.
I'll be interested to see who Ruben is. By the time this comes out, you'll most of us will know, or
Maybe.
yeah, by most of us it would be like myself, Konis, and his fans.
Yep, probably. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can say for those guys right now. The Rob is
Yeah.
they're all okay. Some funny fact then. The Rob and Rick are actually based off enemies from Bubble Bobble, the Midas.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that, Reek, and I was like, oh my god, it's Reek! Like when I saw it.
And yeah, and the thing was, because when I created them, I was pretty lazy, so I just took Bubble Symphony sprites, palette swapped them, and just added them in. And now this irritates me because people already know them as that, so I can't really change it up. Because the thing is, I cannot animate facial expressions well with that, and that's something I can do well for Ozzie because I made the sprite myself. I can actually animate him talking. When the others talk, I just need to put a teeter animation on them.
Yeah, you have to make them teeter and totter and just. Yeah, that's the only bad thing about enemies that have no mouth.
I guess in the end, it's kind of good they have no mouth because the teeter animation actually works pretty dang well, but it sort of stands out now that I have someone that can actually move the beat up and down, aka Dr. Ozzie.
Yeah, I would like to pinch that beak shut if it was me, but nah, never really.
Nah, I don't know what to say about Ozzie. There are two Aussies, not the one. I hope you're not actually thinking I'm talking about the Aussie from Turtle Odyssey because
No,
that
the
Aussie is just a
owl
cute.
Ozzy.
That Aussie is just cute and young and naive, but the our Aussie is as I mentioned before, related to the reluctance to let go. There is actually an incident from my childhood that I would like to say defined my stubbornness.
Oh, really? What happened?
Yes. Alright. So here's the thing. Ever heard of the land before time?
Oh, yes, with Littlefoot and Spike and all the other characters.
Yes, all those dinosaurs. Alrighty. It's a very classic Dawn Blue film. It is excellent, by the way. You should watch it. Uh, Actually, I think you have, but anyone else out there who haven't watch it now. But alright, here's the thing. It's a film. I pretty much got that drilled in my head. For the longest time, I don't and couldn't remember what the first game I ever played was. And some part of me always nagged it was a Land Before Time game. And I'm like, no, it can't be. It's a flum. I mean, it's a flum, right? It's a movie.
It's a
How can it
movie.
not be a movie? It's a movie with 13 sequels as of now, but it's still a movie flum. And to my shock and horror, 10 to 11 years later, when I actually bothered to look it up, there are games made of that movie.
Yeah.
Which officially confirms it. The first video game, if you call it a video game, is an entertainment, educational game. The Land Before Time Kindergarten Adventure. In other words, if I had so much as searched the internet, I would have discovered this 11 years earlier. Maybe not that early because I didn't have internet access as of yet. But yes, for the better part of 11 years, I was pretty much stumped on what the very first so-called game I ever played was, all because I refused to believe that that series was anything other than a flub series.
Well, I never even knew about there being an education entertainment game. But I've seen the movie, and it's like basically the first one alone was the saddest. Like the other ones were a bit more lighthearted, and I enjoyed it, or at least up until the fifth installment, to be more precise. But that first one, it just brought tears to my eyes just to see Littlefoot suffer like that.
That first film is not meant for children. I actually pointed it out on Twitter that it's one of those three films I watched as a kid, which is probably related to traumatizing me. But yeah, so basically they made long story short, the reason I'm stubborn. Believe The Land Before Time was a film series. Hence refused to believe the first game I ever played was a Land Before Time game. And there you go. It's pretty much the first stubborn act I recall, hence, actually, the real reason Dr. Ozzie is interested in dinosaurs. That's it. It's because the very first stubborn act I ever did was something related to dinosaurs.
Now that I didn't know that either. I mean, I knew that Ozzy. Actually, I didn't even know that either. But it's like that's something I never would have guessed that Ozzy likes dinosaurs.
Oh, actually, he does. It's a very, very recurring point because I know because Disaster Will Strike is a dinosaur series, he's always there.
See now that like I've seen a few of the Disaster Will Strike videos, but not all of them, or at least not the ones
Mm,
that featured Ozzy. So I'm
he's,
guilty.
he's, he's featured in the fifth series on, and since I'm gonna play the sixth game sometime soon, he's probably there too. But yeah, that's the real stupid reason. Stubbornness has to do with dinosaurs. And I was tempted to make a pun to throw people off because Super Granny, one of the Super Granny games also has something to do with dinosaurs. And I was tempted to make a pun to throw people off saying, hey, the Land Before Time is the reason I'm stubborn, and see how many people actually think it has something to do with the Triceratops Sarah, but nah, it is nothing to do with her. Nothing of the sort.
See, now here's another thing I actually thought it was. It was not. The first thing I was thinking of is it because Littlefoot lost his mother, and he denies the fact that he lost her, even though he really did? That would make you
That
stubborn?
that is stubborn, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, now granted, it's never really great to lose anybody. I mean, who wants to lose someone that you love? And but I just thought it was because of his stubbornness to refuse to believe that his mother was gone. I actually thought that was the reason. that you were stubborn.
Yeah, that's more denial than stubbornness. And to be fair, I completely feel for the poor little guy because I lost family members too, at the age of 11, I want to say. So yes, I understand. Denial and stubbornness are two different things. I'm stubborn. I'm just plain stubborn, basically.
I mean, I can go on, but I think we've run that little topic to the ground.
Run that little topic to the ground. We definitely have. So yeah, that's the real reason why I'm stubborn. An act of dumbness on my part, I must admit.
Well, I mean, I guess it just depends on why it is that you're stubborn. Well, that even includes myself. I mean, there are times when I've been stubborn myself, and but I mean, I could go on, but I think we've run that also to the ground. Let's see. Other stuff that we could talk about.